Hello, dreamers. So, listen, doing this video is very hard for me because I suffered from anxiety at a period in time. I no longer suffer with anxiety, right? So, anxiety can be a very triggering word for some, so we're going to replace that word anxiety with Wi-Fi today. I want to first thank you all for watching, for being here. Please subscribe if you have not already, but let's get into it. So, Wi-Fi. It can be taxing on our minds, on our bodies, right? It can be detrimental. It can stop our normal day-to-day functioning, which is why it is a mental health disorder. It is very serious, like depression, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, like all of the other ones, right? Because it can stop us from our daily functioning, right? A lot of people, they experience anxiety, Wi-Fi to the point they are, what can I say? They're having panic attacks, right? And if you're not having panic attacks, you're in your house and you're feeling like you're gonna die, and people need to talk about this. Like, you really feel like you're gonna die, right? And imagine being trapped in that. Imagine having that Wi-Fi on your shoulder, not knowing when it's gonna come back. A lot of people experience that and people don't talk about it enough. It's horrible. And I didn't know that until after I experienced it. From a mental health clinician perspective, I've read the books. I know all about anxiety. But it's different when you're in it and you're experiencing it. Telling someone to just take some deep breaths while they're in the middle of a panic attack is insulting. It's very much so insulting. Like, what do you mean? I can't even breathe. How can I take a deep breath? Which can send them into more panic. So when you are dealing with someone who has Wi-Fi, right, you want to make sure that you are talking to them in a calm manner. Everything needs to be calm because remember, they're on 10. They're on 100. So everything from you needs to be on calm. It's okay. Reassurance is needed, especially during that time. What helped me was a code word. Me and my husband had a code word, and it was joyous. I didn't want to say the word Wi-Fi because it's triggering to a lot of us, right? So I would say, I'm feeling joyous, and he automatically knew, oh, it's okay, babe. You're doing good. What are you up to right now? Trying to get my mind distracted from what's going on inside, right? You need to have a plan with people that are around you when you have this disorder, okay? Also, Wi-Fi. Why did I choose the word Wi-Fi? Wi-Fi, when I think of Wi-Fi, you think about the symbol of Wi-Fi, right? And it's like you connecting with, things that are outside of yourself. So let's look at social Wi-Fi, right? When you're out in public and you're around too many different energies and it affects you in a negative way, you start to pick up on the emotions of others. You start to think about a lot of different things and you just start to clam up, right? Social Wi-Fi can make you feel like, it can make you have thoughts of, I'm not good enough, or what are they thinking about me? And it can spiral into pretty much anything. It's different for everyone, right? So that's why I chose the word Wi-Fi. But it's important for you to know that you got to watch your own thoughts. You got to watch your own thoughts because Wi-Fi stems from your thought processes. Whatever you're thinking, right, you're feeling. If you're thinking not so good thoughts, you're going to feel not so good. So that is why we got to be able to set boundaries with our mind. We don't talk about that either. Have you ever heard of someone saying it's time to set boundaries with your mind, with yourself? You have to set boundaries with your mind. You got to challenge those thoughts like, not today. I'm not going down that rabbit hole today. You're not going to get me this time. No, you got to find ways to distract yourself, like with coping skills, doing things you love, like painting and dancing and walking your dog, talking to your best friend, venting, talking to your therapist. Processing some of this information that is coming in, is feeling like it's bombarding you, that's creating these feelings of Wi-Fi, right? You don't want to be to the point where you're deep down that rabbit hole because you know how that gets. Don't think about it. But you know how that gets, right? And you want to be able to steer clear of those thoughts. So find things to distract yourself, like by setting boundaries with your mind. You're watching a movie. Nah, mind. I'm trying to watch this movie. I don't got time for that. And know your triggers. Know your triggers. You need to be 10 steps ahead of your triggers. If you watching the show and you know it's triggering, don't watch it. You know, if a grocery store triggers you, you know, actually, I don't want you to avoid your triggers. I want you to face your triggers. For me, I like trigger replacement. Like, for instance, I had a car accident a long time ago, and it was with a Jeep. And Jeeps would trigger me, right? So I had to find new meaning for Jeeps, right? I start to associate Jeeps with good things, right? So that when I seen a Jeep, I wouldn't automatically think about this, which sends me in a spiral of all these thoughts about that situation. So I had to find something like, you know, to replace it. So I went and bought a Barbie Jeep, right? So now that I have this Barbie Jeep, anytime I see a Jeep, I think about the Barbie Jeep and I laugh. And that's like how I replace my triggers, okay? You gotta find ways to change. If it's a person's name that triggers you, you know, find a meaning for that name that has no association with this person. That way you can replace that trigger and it can be less triggering, right? Know your triggers. Replace your triggers, but also use your coping skills and distract yourselves, because it's real. Your mind is very powerful. Your mind's so powerful, it's crazy. Your mind's so powerful, it can make you the most successful person in the world, but also your mind's so powerful, it can send you into the deepest depression. It can send you into the deepest depression. But the thing about it is, you have to be able to have control of your mind. Your mind is a monkey brain. Your mind see the car, oh, red, tomato, tacos. Oh, it's Taco Tuesday. I want tacos. Like, your mind just be like, right? You got to be able to control your mind. A good method to control your mind is by challenging your thoughts, but also creating a routine for yourself. That way, you know throughout the day what you're doing. That way, you're not idle, because the idle mind is the devil's playground. We all know that. Just sitting there thinking, unless you're like on the verge of an amazing new invention or the greatest idea to mankind, you know. If it's all the way on some negative type of stuff, you want to avoid it. So you want to make sure that you're busy throughout the day and you're always doing something that's productive and counteractive to your healing. Okay? You can get out of this. Wi-Fi is real, and not enough people really talk about it. You hear people talking about it, but not in a way that is, you know, helpful. Like, you shouldn't have to go to therapy to get tools. Like, literally, I have to do all this research in order to get out of my Wi-Fi. Like, I was at a point, I was laying on my bed like, just take me now. If it's my time to go, it's my time to go. Because I just got tired of it. Because I was in it for a whole week, just panic attacks. Just out the blue. And it happened during this pandemic, so I'm pretty sure it was like all of that, along with some other stressors that just, it happens like that, right? And then once it happens, you're always looking over your shoulder. Is it going to come back? And that creates more of it. So I had to research. Once I researched, I heard people's stories, right? I heard people's stories and I heard, hey, they got out of this. If they got out of this, I can get out of this, right? So it gave me hope. Once I had hope, I was able to easily get out of it. Easily. I ain't gonna say it was easy. I take that back. It took some days, but days compared to years is easy, okay? You can do it. It's good to know what it is and know that it stems from your thoughts. It's what you're thinking, what you're scared of. Your fear-based thoughts is creating this Wi-Fi. Time to control your thoughts. It's time to. I want you all to know that, you know, seek therapy. Therapy is very, very helpful. I'm not saying this because I'm going to be a therapist. No, I'm saying this because it's helped me. It's helped me to process, to have that objective perspective. It helps you a lot because you don't feel judged. You don't feel judged. Like telling your family member you're scared that you're going to be judged. You don't have to worry about any of that. It's like telling your whole life story to someone that can't say anything to nobody. Nobody. You know it's confidential. So it gives you that freedom to express who you are without being judged. You know, unless you're a harm to yourself or others. You know what I mean? Confidentiality, you know, it's a duty to warn, you know. But as long as you're not a threat to yourself or others, then you're fine. They have to uphold their confidentiality. So I want you to know that you can get help, people. So yes, Wi-Fi, it can be very tumultuous. I don't know the word for it. It's no bueno. It's no bueno. But you can overcome it. This is not a life sentence. This is something that I think teaches you how powerful your mind is and how far it can go. Like, it can go far, far, like to the darkest of the darks. But that means it can go to the lightest of the lights, okay? I thank you all for watching. If you have not already, please subscribe. And until next time, dreamers, dream.